My name is Maurice Allen, 2018 Volvic World Long Drive Champion, here to give you guys a slight demonstration on power, how to create power, but most importantly, how does Foresight help me with everything that I'm doing preparing for the World Long Drive Championships. Really quick, how many people want to hit the ball further? Yay, great. Okay, how many of you all think you understand how to hit the ball further? Yeah, none of you. Great. So that's why we're all here. Perfect. No problem. So what we're going to do is, if you guys can give me about 15, 20 minutes tops of your time, I'll let you guys know. You'll walk away from here knowing at least a little more about your equipment, how to maximize your equipment, and then how to use Foresight to help you hit the ball further. So the first thing I'm going to do is, the best thing I can give you is how to hit the ball further. How many of you all think it's strength? You have to go to the gym 4 times a day and all this other stuff. Good, nobody, it's perfect. The first thing you want to do is become more mobile. So how many of you all can actually touch your toes with no problem right now? All right, so less than half of you all are mobile enough. So I brought my friend Jesse. He's going to take me through about 3 to 5 minutes of stretching so I can explain to you all things that I do on a regular basis. Hopefully you all will do them too, or pull your phones out and at least record it, take some pictures, so it's something you can do. So Jesse, you come up and I'll tell them what we're talking about.
I can be loud.
Okay, or you can be loud. Jesse can be loud.
I played quarterback in high school, I can be loud. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jesse Grun. I'm a certified strength coach. I work with companies like TRX and Stick Mobility. Maurice is one of my clients, and our goal is to keep him functionally strong throughout the entire season. The key to that is mobility. Mobility and flexibility are not the same thing. Mobility is about achieving strength at range of motion. That's how we keep the body durable for the season. So when I'm looking at Mo, I'm making sure he's got great thoracic rotation, so proper rotation in the middle of his spine, his hips work properly, and his pivot mechanics are right. So there's a couple things we do to increase that, and stick mobility is our main tool that we use for that. So for instance, the first drill I'm going to do with Maurice today is what's called a half kneeling bow and arrow. Now you see these sticks, they bend. I'm a pretty strong guy, I cannot break them. They're not going anywhere, but what it helps me do is actually achieve strength and motion. So the first drill I'm going to have Maurice do is a half kneeling bow and arrow. So the goal is to stay tall and strong, push down into the stick, and actually create tension through the stick. That tension is going to remind the body how to get back to that range of motion. So
not taking the shoes off today, but it's all right.
It's all right.
All right, so what we see when I get down here, everybody always, well, you would ask, why would I get down on the ground when I'm trying to focus on my golf swing? The biggest thing that you want to do, how many people swing it over the top? The reason why you swing it over the top is because you're trying to create strength in a non-strong position. So if you get flexible in those same positions, that will also help you create more power, which will give you more speed, which in turn will get you the ball further. So what we're doing with this, pretty much put it in the middle. We go in here, get a full stretch, make sure I don't lean forward, make sure the knees don't go all the way out, keeping everything in the chain together.
So he's stretching his lateral line right here, so your QL, it's a little small muscle group, all the way down to the hip flexor. Any of that's tight, it's gonna prohibit you being able to get into a proper backswing. We all wanna analyze why is my low back hurt, but it's actually just a tattletale. It's not what's causing the pain. Something else is causing it, and you gotta figure out what that cause is. The next drill is something I see everybody do. They grab a golf club out, and they just start going back and forth. How many people do this with a golf club right before they're gonna swing?
Almost everybody.
Almost everybody. You're literally doing nothing, okay? We want the humerus to glide properly to the shoulder and where it's connected. So with a stick, you actually lightly pull it apart and then work back. As I'm pulling it apart, I'm actually stretching out the front side and creating strength so it can move properly. And as I come back forward, I create tension back into the stick. See it bending because I'm pushing it in as I bring it back. So, a couple of dislocates with Maurice. I'm also looking for his rib cage. I don't want it to flare because then I'm just trying to gain a little extra for my range of motion. And then one more. He's going to hold for about 5 to 6 seconds here, trying to teach the body to get stronger. Good. Our last one. So we've done a big one, we've done a small one. Now we're going to do one to get the entire golf swing. This is what we call movement prep, or dynamic movement prep. So please don't judge me based on my backswing. I am not as good as Maurice is. All right? But I'm going to start in my golf stance, actually work back, and then follow all the way through. This gives me a chance to connect the structure by the stick and actually work all the way through before I actually start hitting the club.
All right, I know everybody does something similar to this with a golf club, thinking that you're stretching it out and starting off your golf swing, getting ready to get your round going.
The stick allows a little bit of connection between the hands, so you can actually start stretching. So the next time you guys are going to step on the course, remember movement prep is important, not just stretching. Don't just bend over and touch your toes. If anybody's interested in stick mobility, they gave me a code for a discount for people today. So just come see me after Maurice's demonstration. Thanks for your time, guys.
All right, so when we're looking at World Long Drive, how many of you all have watched World Long Drive on TV? Okay, really simple, give it to you in a nutshell. You've got 8 balls, 3 minutes, only 1 ball counts, longest ball of the 8. From round to round to round, it is different. What you guys see on TV is traditionally match play. Long drive is actually 4 guys on the tee box hitting simultaneously. The way how you know who hit what ball is based on color. By the time we get to see you guys on TV, we have already hit for sometimes 4 days. And they've narrowed the field down from 100 guys to 16 or to 8 or to whatever you're seeing on TV. People ask me all the time, so this is my playing driver. I'll grab this TaylorMade here and we'll look. So everybody thinks that a long drive guy hits a much longer driver, right? When you're on the course. So I'll show you. My driver compared to the TaylorMade that I'm going to use today, that's 2 inches maybe, 2.5. So it's much shorter. So the numbers that you see are not with a souped up driver. Everything that we hit in long drive has to be USGA legal, has to be conforming. Conforming head, length cannot be over 48 inches. So pretty much, if you can play with it on the PGA Tour, you can use it in long drive. If you can't, you can't. End of story. I've seen people come out with great club heads. They don't pass conforming, they pull them. So here's what we're looking at today. So when I'm going through my prep, anytime I'm getting ready for my season, even changing from event to event, the first thing I do is I go and I get on my Foresight. The reason why I trust this piece of equipment personally, 2 things. If I go up here, I can change this, the elevation, and that's big in my prep. If I live in Florida and I live in Georgia, but let's say I'm going out to Phoenix. Air's a little different, elevation is different. I can change that and I'll know what to expect from my equipment. What equipment do I need to bring into play? Every time I go out and compete, I probably have about 15 drivers in the bag, and it's solely based on wind, it's different flex, different lofts. This driver here is a 4-degree driver. So my play driver on the course is 4 degrees at 43 inches. So we'll get to what everybody wants to see, hitting the ball. All right, came over the top, not bad, that was actually pretty terrible. First swing, not good, still warming it up. But when I look at what I see here, I'm looking at a few things. If I can get that to stop turning. I'll do it on the next one. Oh, can't get any better than that now, can you? Huh. All right, so 340 carry with a 43-inch driver. The first thing that you want to look at, or at least that I look at when I'm checking out my clubs and things of that nature, let's get that to switch. Switch back, please. There we go. Nope, I did it. I look at these 2 numbers here, launch angle, and then I look at spin. I've pretty much taken the first 2 numbers in the spin. I think that one was 2100. I add that to my launch. So 21 plus 12 gives you what? 33. It's okay. When you get to 33 in long drive, we're looking for 2 numbers, okay? When you add these 2 numbers together and they equal anywhere from 32 to 34, you are getting optimal distance. If you have too little spin, ball falls out the air. If you have too much spin, what happens? It does like most people. You hit it and it looks like an airplane taking off and then it falls straight down. So you're trying to find what will give you the optimal distance based on your club head speed, your ball speed. People are always looking at those things. The biggest factors are backspin and launch. The beauty of this particular device is I can take it anywhere. I can sync it up to my Surface Pro, I can sync it up to my laptop. So even if I'm outside on the range or if I'm hitting indoors, I'm able to use that. And the big part for me is it's something that I know, something that I trust, and I have absolutely no questions at all about it. When I won World Championships in September, to the number, the week before, my carry distances were the exact same as what I got in World Championships. When I hit 393, 392, 391, when I was practicing with my quad, I got those exact same numbers to the number with the carry distance every single time. So I knew exactly what I could do, and I didn't necessarily have to think I had an out-of-body experience to be able to create that. When you look at the ball speeds here, when you look at the launch, when you look at the spin, you're actually getting numbers that are real. You don't have to question them. You can go outside. I've been on other devices before outside and had stuff on the range where I was hitting the ball and the numbers on the carry distances were 15 yards off, 20 yards off. When you're looking at the professional level, 15 yards, 10 yards, even 5 yards could be the difference between getting to the next round and going home. So being able to know that you're hitting on a piece of equipment that you can trust is a huge, huge factor, especially when you're changing clubs, when you're looking at potentially going to new shaft combinations or going to a different head and all these other different things, even something as simple as trying and testing a different ball. Little fadey. Oh, well, it's a little longer than I expected. But I am certain there are a few questions out there about me, about long drive, about my swing. Ask away. Anybody, any questions? Any questions? Nope, 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 everybody. Okay, so I was asked about the little Charles Barkley hitch that I have in my swing. It's okay, I refer to it as that. No, just, everybody says that you should only have one swing thought when you're hitting the golf ball. I probably have 12. So for me, I used to play pool a lot as a kid. I'm actually quite a nerd. So when I was in college, I double majored in biology and chemistry with a minor in math. So the stuff that goes on in my brain, you don't want to know, but I'm actually drawing lines. So everybody's done this drill who plays golf. Put your butt on the wall, and you take it back, and then you try to keep you keep one cheek on so that you're not humping the goat, right? So for me, in a very simple way, it's easy. When I come here, fade, straight, draw, hook, slice. But that happens in my brain really, really fast, and it changes the grip pressure. So that's what I'm doing with that. The things around my ankles, there's nothing around my ankles. No, these are just shoes. Oh, I'm sorry, that comes off. It's just a pair of shoes. I have commitment issues, so I don't tie my shoes. At least that's what I tell my girlfriend, I have commitment issues. So it works out for her pretty bad, but for me it works out really well. But yeah, I don't tie my shoes when I played pro ball and when I ran track professionally. I never tied my shoes. I don't know why. I buy them about a size smaller, and then I just choose not to tie them. So now we'll change it. So we'll drop it way inside, drop it flat. Now the problem with that, when you drop it too flat, you'll end up with a knuckleball, which you got right there. I would assume that spins under 1,300. Yes, 700 spin. Now the reason in that is because, and most people say, well, you can't have 700 spin. I've actually seen that ball outside. It does not look pretty at all. So that's how I am able to figure out different things in my swing, just looking at the spin, figuring out where's my body weight. Traditionally, when I hit a fade, or when most people hit a fade, it's because your hips come forward. When your hips come forward, your weight's on your toes. So easy take home for you guys, really, really simple. If you hit a fade, weight's on the toes. You hit a draw, weight's on the heels or a hook. You hit it straight, weight's in the center. Everybody tells you about the inside, the outside path, and blah, 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 blah. I can really break that down for you biomechanically, how that still boils back down to your feet. But everything in the golf swing still comes back down to your feet. No matter where you are, if you can actually take a freeze frame of your body at impact, you'll see that most of the times when you hit a draw or When you hit a draw, it's back here. When you hit it straight, you're in the center. And definitely when you hit a fade, it's over there. Now, I do not look like most long drivers. I am very short. I'm only 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. I take these shoes off, more like 5'7" to be honest with you. But my background is nothing but power. I was an Olympic hopeful sprinter. My fastest time in the 100 meters was 10:1 for you football and baseball people. I ran 4:1 in the 40 and 6:0 in the 60. Played volleyball, played soccer, played baseball, ran track, played football, did all these different things. So I can compete with these guys because of that. Now, most people would think that a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", like Mike Dobbins, he's supposed to hit the ball far, right? He's really big, he's really huge. But the truth of the matter is, it's harder for him to hit the ball than it is for me to hit the ball. Power lifters are very short people, right? Because they don't have far to push. Same thing with me. I don't have really far to go, so my fast twitch muscle fibers are a little bit easier for them to pop off compared to a guy who's long. So what you end up seeing is there's actually a, I guess you get through the law of diminishing return. When you get to a certain height, yeah, you have an arc that's really, 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 really tall, but then what happens? It's really slow, winding it up and putting it down. My arc is a little different. The average person who's my height probably has a wingspan of 5'9", 5'10". Even though I have one arm that's 6 inches shorter than the other one, I'm still at about 6'2", 6'3". So maybe I should have been taller or something happened in life. I'm not quite certain on that part. But the beautiful thing about the game of golf, it shows you that there's more than one way to get things done when you look at it. That one wasn't bad, 196 on the ball speed. Let's see what happens when it changes back. So 19 and 13, if you want to add the decibels, that's just right. 33 is the number. It's right in the middle of that zone that we talked about. So I want you guys, when I get finished, go around to the different simulators, give it a try, check it out, and see if you can get those two numbers to match anywhere from 33 to 34. You can get away with 32, but once you get above 34, it gets really, really weird. And then the next thing that changes everything is your side spin. Obviously, a ball that's hit straight goes further. You know, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So the energy is not being released going from right to left, it's still going straight down the grid. One thing I'm asked quite often, how wide is the grid on the long drive tour? Everybody thinks it's this big, huge field. Truth of the matter, it's not. We've had some grids on World Long Drive that are as narrow as 32 yards wide. Typical fairway. Widest one I think we had all year long was 55, Bobby? Yeah, 55. There are no 80-yard wide grids. There's no 100 yards wide swing for the fences. That's not how it works. The real deal is when you hit a ball at the speed that we're looking at, if you're 2 degrees open, if you're 2 degrees closed, at 140 plus miles an hour, you literally have something that is 4 yards wide to hit. That's it. It's really, really that simple. So it's a very, very challenging thing. It's not as easy as it looks. And truth be told to you, a lot of long drivers actually have really, really good golf game. There's a guy, Paul Howell, I can go Wes Patterson, Justin Moose, almost qualified for US Open. He got to the last stage before that. So there are a lot of guys who have great abilities on the golf course as well. I'm not one of them though. Any other questions for anybody out there? No, not you. No, go ahead.
Why do you start your swing on your tippy toes?
I start my swing on my toes. I've been told before that they thought I was trying to be taller. Good luck with that. It's never going to happen. For me, it's about setting my right hip. You hear teachers all the time talking about setting your right hip. So when you're looking at your golf swing, it's all about where are your power leaks. A lot of people have a lot of power. They can generate a lot of power, but they have power leaks. So when you get into your backswing and your knee flares out or your foot flares open, you've lost power. Essentially, now you're down, say you're at 100%. The moment you do this, you probably drop 10%, maybe even 15%. That's a huge power leak. So I'm on my toes so that every time I can set it and I can get into my hip totally turn my quad on, turn my glute on, turn my hammy on, and get everything ready to fire. What's the point in being able to squat 400 or 500, 600 pounds and you never use it? Why would I get out here and then say, okay, I put in all this work, nope, I'm gonna let it go. Remember, energy can't be created nor destroyed, only transferred. So you're trying to use the ground, you're trying to pull all that stuff, and you don't want any power leaks. So that's why I'm on my toes. Somebody over here had it. Yes, sir.
Why are you starting your club so far back?
Why do I start with my club so far back? Easy question. Well, we talk about lines, right? So every teacher tells you that everything has to be parallel. Well, if I actually put my club behind the ball, how will I ever hit a draw if my feet are on one line and my shoulders are here? The thing I was telling you about earlier, I have one arm 6 inches longer than the other one. That's not a parlor trick, that's actually real life. I broke my arm as a kid, so I don't have an elbow, which actually is my cheat. It's the same injury Calvin Pete had, but on the opposite side. So most teachers would tell a guy not to flare this elbow and get chicken wing, right? They always tell you to keep everything pinched in, keep it connected. Well, the beautiful thing about me, I can flare this elbow because I can't supinate or pronate on my right arm. So I never have to worry about anything going wrong. All I have to do is yank down as hard as I can. So, gives you that one. Oh, now that's pretty good. All right, 370-yard carry, 43-inch driver, no thrills. Let's see what the numbers come up with. Okay, 96. Here we go again. We're right at the 32 if you put the decimals in there. We're really, really, really close. So that is just constantly showing you over and over again when you put these things together. It's all about having, everybody talks about technology. Technology in the club, technology in the shaft, technology in the ball. The truth of the matter is the technology is right here because it gives you more information about what you're doing. Nobody hits the same shot over and over and over again. We're not robots. But what are your misses? When you're missing a certain way, are you missing in a way where you're able to recover in another one? And that's what this shows here. Any other questions? All right, my 15 minutes are up. Thank you all so much for your time. Hopefully you all get in one of these bays and check out Foresight.